It's the radio guy, Mike Prince, and welcome to a very special edition of the Mike Prince Show as we come to you live right here on the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We got a special show for you on tonight. We're going to be hearing from B.J. Jones, and we're going to hear from Johnnie Football Cole as we get a chance to simmer through and break down some things that was with the Celebration Bowl 2019 football NFL update. The Kansas City Chiefs right now in the third quarter, 17-0 over the Chicago Bears, and they are taking care of that as we speak, and we are ready, as they say, to make things happen on this side of things. We're going to go right into tonight's show and get things, as they say, recapped as we get ready for the big payback, if you would. I'm still in shock behind this final result, and we'll get more detail from our guests on tonight with B.J. Jones and with Johnnie Football Cole. But the Alcorn State Braves losing 64-44 to the North Carolina A&T Aggies. Other FCS scoring is going to be James Madison and North Dakota State to meet for the FCS championship game. And that's going to be January the 11th in Frisco, Texas. James Madison was able to get past Weber State by the score of 30-14. And North Dakota State got past Montana by the score of 42-14. So as projected, these two will be meeting on January the 11th, scheduled for an 11 a.m. kickoff. And we have the FCS FCS bowl chair or committee chair on board with us, and that was Mr. Greg Seitz, and he's going to be our guest one day next week as we kind of break down what was the reason and the rationale behind moving the championship game back so far. I have an idea what I think it is, but it's always best to go straight to the source where we can check things out and see what's what. So what we're going to do as we get ready for tonight's show, I want to remind you that we're doing a new twist of things, the Mike Prince Show, which was formerly the Sports Report Show, what we did on live, but we'll still be coming to you daily on Mondays through Friday from 10 a.m. And also we're going to be featuring a new show or two that we're going to be announcing out real soon here coming to the network, as well as the Carlos Brown Show to be featured on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to 12 noon right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. What we're going to do right now, we'll take a break and we'll get ready for our first guest on tonight. B.J. Jones was live and live in color from the Mercedes-Benz Dome in Atlanta, Georgia, and we'll go back and kind of recap and rehash some of the things that went on with more of the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Keep it where you got it, and we'll be right back. You're looking to expand your business or services? Let the Open Mic Broadcast Network help lead the way. With our customized campaigns, we are definitely able to reach your target audience. For more information, dial 832-213-8824. The Open Mic Broadcast Network, serving the community through faith and athletics. The voice of student athletics. Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas. Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026.
One voice. It can get the point across, but it only carries so far. Add a voice. It's richer, louder, but that has limits too. Add a third voice. It's even more powerful. Add another, and another, and many, many more. And we are stronger than ever. That's the power of a community coalition. They help community groups, faith groups, civic organizations, PTAs, employers, and many others in your community organize their resources and focus them where they're needed most, like fighting to keep kids away from drugs. Ask a group that you belong to if they should belong to a community coalition. It's easy to get involved. Visit helpyourcommunity.org and they'll tell you exactly how your group can help. That's helpyourcommunity.org, because you get more when we get together. Brought to you by the Office of National Drug Control Policy and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to the Sports Report Live, or should I say the Mike Prince Show Live, as we are changing things over, getting ready for 2020. So, or 2020, that's what it's going to be. I'm so confused, so much going on. Right now, we're going to open up this segment with our young man that has given us a report from the ATL. He saw this thing firsthand, and I'm still shaking my head over it, as we'll present to some and introduce to others, none other than B.J. Jones. How you doing tonight, B.J.?
I am doing pretty good, man. I am doing pretty good.
Well,
no complaints.
No complaints? Well, it don't do no good to complain anyway, does it?
No, they won't listen to you anyway.
Well, look, man, how do you explain what was witnessed on yesterday?
Man, it was, game started off slow. It was a 3-0 ball game, scoreless ball game for a while, and then all of a sudden, you got the offensive explosion. First by, North Carolina A&T. And then when you look at the final score, it's hard to explain to people that we went into the second quarter 3-0.
Right.
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 And then, once North Carolina A&T got their footing offensively, man, they were impossible to stop. And then you got to give Alcorn credit. They kept fighting back. They didn't go away. They kept scoring. Felix Harper and Chris Blair, they kept, connecting. North Carolina A&T was, hurt with Matt McCain being hobbled most of the second half. And Alcorn took advantage of that. So it ended up turning into what we thought was going to be a defensive game into basically basketball on grass.
That's an understatement, brother. That's an understatement. You talking about a total flip. When I'm looking at this first quarter, I'm gauging this thing because I don't know if you recall, I projected this thing was going to be like 17-14, Alcorn finding a way to win because of what the defenses were bringing to the table. And it went, as they say, from the White House to the outhouse real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, when you look at the scoring breakdown, North Carolina A&T basically scored 52 points in 2 quarters.
Yeah.
Between the second and the third quarter, they scored 52 points.
Yes, sir. And when you look at this thing, as far as the final stats, time of possession was equal. You had 6 penalties on one side, 7 penalties on the other. But I guess the bottom line, and I asked you this yesterday during the post-game show, North Carolina A&T is just that great, right? They're just that good.
Talent-wise, they are. The problem is they don't oftentimes play to their talent level.
Wow.
And that's something that Sam Washington talked about. He said the biggest challenge that he has now with the talent that they have on the football team, and when he said it, me and Ken Rashard looked at each other like, wow. He said his biggest thing to do is to keep the kids from getting bored.
Wow. That's kind of scary, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, just for lack of better, that's kind of scary. You look at Martin seemed to be. There were two versions of Martin. There was this passive, aggressive Martin in the first half, and then all of a sudden the lights came on, and he says, "I'm one of the top backs in FCS, not let alone just HBCU football, but in FCS period. Let me act like it in the second half."
Yes, and when he got it going, that touchdown run at 73-yarder that he had, Jermaine Martin is not a small kid, and he's about 220 pounds, 225. And when he turned that corner, you had a defensive back, a cornerback, and a safety with the angle, and he ran straight past them like they were standing still.
Yeah, I know.
And he ran it literally all the way through the tunnel. I thought he was going to take it all the way out to the parking lot.
That was like Earl Campbell. I don't know if you remember that. Earl Campbell and Bo Jackson ran through the tunnels on Monday Night Football. That's exactly what it was reminiscent of. But this dude was a man-child yesterday.
Yeah, he was. And this is something else that came out, just having some North Carolina A&T people in the booth who are familiar with the program. You have two members of that receiving corps that are members of a top 10 nationally ranked track team. And those young men, the first one is number 2, his name escapes me at the moment. He's a part of that, one of the receivers of that track team, Corey Banks, a young man from right here in Metro ATL, and then Zachary Leslie. These guys are sprinters. And it showed when they ran their routes, and to see them just run past the Alcorn defensive back like they were standing still. Even the safeties who had started backing up, giving them 15 yards before the snap, they just ran past them like they were standing still.
Man, it's you look at it, and another thing that makes me scratch my head, and I don't know how you feel. I know you're a Southern alum, and you bleed Columbia blue and gold. I bleed purple and gold for Prairie View. And if Alcorn was the best, and we agree that they were probably the best team to represent our conference this year, what does that say for the rest of our conference, where we have to come or where we have to go to match up to this MEAC level and FCS level of talent?
We have a ways to go. And I talked about this on my show. For everything that North Carolina A&T has done, and even Alcorn has accomplished, Alcorn, for all they've accomplished since 2014, 4 conference titles, 6 straight Eastern Division titles, Alcorn has not won a non-conference Division I game that's playing against an FCS or an FBS team. They have not won a non-conference Division I game since 2004.
Wow.
So when your best hasn't won a non-conference game against someone at your level in 15 years, that's not good slating. If you look at the SWAC resumes from different teams, you see a lot of teams who haven't won, games at their level in multiple years. And ironically, Alcorn's last Division I win was against North Carolina A&T in 2004, where they beat them 15-13.
Wow. Now, what does that say? I know we say there's work to be done, and I know what the approach is on, at least I think I know what the approach is. How do we rectify that, man?
I think that we really got to get serious about it as a conference. I mean, we really got to look ourselves in the mirror and ask, are you going to be a Division One conference or aren't you? You know, what's the ultimate goal? Is the goal just simply to win the SWAC and get to Atlanta and get here and get boat race? Or are you trying to push the programs into position to saying that we are some of the top programs at this level? And if we're being honest with each other, we haven't been seeing a lot of the latter of we saying, hey, we want to compete nationally. We want to, show that we're the better programs. And you don't have to sacrifice the SWAC championship game to do that. You don't have to sacrifice the Celebration Bowl to do that. It doesn't have to be either or. It can be and it starts with scheduling. And we like to schedule Edward Waters and some of these other teams that don't mean a hill of beans. But we got to start scheduling some of these Southland and OVC and Southern Conference and other leagues to be able to do that.
Well, you're absolutely right when it comes to that. And, here's where I tell people you got to be joking, right? Well, the FCS don't mean anything to me. I don't care about the playoffs. Well, if it doesn't mean anything, why are we a part of that division? Why not go and be independent? Now, if I'm going to pay my fees to be associated with the FCS playoffs, then I need to position myself to be a benefactor of everything available for being associated in that. And if it means an at-large opportunity for an invitation to the playoffs, then so be it. Now, we're talking about being quite honest. I don't expect Grambling nor Southern to rechange and reshape their schedule, because the Bayou Classic is a stapler of our connection, if you would, HBCU connection. But you have other programs, and if the truth might be stated, I think that Alabama State might want to start reconsidering the impact and the value of the Turkey Day Classic, because that game impacts them. There is not a divisional race involved when it comes to that. So they could possibly eliminate that game to make themselves available for the FCS playoffs. And while we're talking about Alabama State, let's give a congratulations to Donald Ely. He just got an extension on his service. I'm not quite sure of all the details. I think it's a 1-year extension, but either way, congratulations. You could take that as tomato or tomato, but at least they had enough confidence to bring them back for one more year.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama State did improve this year. They did a lot better than I expected. Looking at the schedule that they had, I thought that they would come out of that first stretch where they had UAB, Tuskegee, Kennesaw State, Grambling, and Alcorn all within the first 5. I thought that they were going to be looking at 1-4 best case scenario. But if you look at the way they competed against UAB, they beat Tuskegee, they beat Grambling State. I think the football team looked a lot better. Still losing season. And, I know there were some people on the fence about what they should do about Donald Ely. A lot of people saw the improvements, but a lot of people down in Montgomery weren't happy with, okay, but we're still losing. So it's going to be interesting to see how this next year goes for them, especially if it's just a 1-year extension.
Well, a lot of people, they say, well, all that Alabama State and Alabama A&M are concerned about is the Magic City Classic, which we know is not the case. But here's something that you really need to be looking at. If you were to pick 2 teams on the rise out of the East, you would have to be pointing, in my opinion, toward the direction of Alabama State and Alabama A&M. Losing 26 seniors from the Braves pantry, that's a lot to replenish, brother. That's a lot to replenish.
Yeah. That's a lot. And if you look at the way that Alabama A&M played Alcorn this year, they were a kid stepping out of bounds away from possibly representing the Eastern Division. And you look at what Alabama A&M has coming back, Akil Glass, who's probably, the best quarterback in the conference. He has an argument. You look at some of the things that they have on the outside with Ibrahim and Zay Moore and Brian Jenkins Jr. returning back on the outside. Alabama A&M is going to be right there if they can shore up that defense, which was their Achilles heel. Alabama State, they're bringing back a quarterback and a nice receiving core. The East could be wide open, so if you're going to strike, this would be the time to strike.
Well, and it goes back to what we were talking about that led to that, about the scheduling part of it. If you are, let's just be honest, the top 4 programs right now that people think about when you talk about the Southwestern Athletic Conference is going to be Alcorn, Grambling, Southern, and Jackson State. Okay, in that second tier, you're talking about the Alabama States, Alabama A&M, and Prairie View. Okay, and you can flip them either kind of way for the order, but that is what it is when people think of SWAC football. If you're in that second tier, Alabama State, Alabama A&M, Prairie View, and we'll throw Pine Bluff in there just for good measure, do you, as an athletic director and a head football coach, you have to start looking at your scheduling, that your chances of making it to win your division, number one, compared to the chances of getting an at-large FCS playoff bid by the way you're competing in your non-conference schedule. Because let's be honest, and you brought out the numbers earlier, we're struggling as a conference when we step outside. We beat up on each other, but we suck outside the conference.
Yeah, and that hurts conference perception as a whole. I alluded to that's how you have an Alcorn State team with 8 wins still not ranked in the top 25. So, I always make this argument. Winning conference games helps you. Winning non-conference games helps the entire conference.
Right.
So if you're an athletic director, I would like to our athletic directors get on board with that mentality that, hey, when I win this game, this just isn't ultimately this game. This is a win for the SWAC. This is a win for the conference. Because someone else winning non-conference games can help somebody else get an at-large bid. Because when they go, who did you beat? Well, we beat so-and-so and so-and-so, and then they beat so-and-so and so-and-so.
Right. That's that united stance, if you would, for the SWAC as a whole. Now, when you talk about the other schools, and we don't have to call them out for embarrassment, but schools that are challenged financially, how do you get over that hump with those particular programs?
I think what a lot of those schools are doing are playing those one-game guarantees at the FCS level. They're going to Jacksonville State. They're going to Lamar. They're going to the Dakotas. They're trying to recoup some funds, but then also play an FCS schedule. So I think they're doing what they can scheduling-wise. And then you see it from a recruiting standpoint, they're hitting the JUCO ranks very, very hard year in and year out because they need guys who will come in and compete immediately and contribute immediately. So, with them, until they can get the influx of dollars, that's going to be the route that they're going to be going.
We're talking live right now with B.J. Jones on the Mike Prince Live here on Sunday nights here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're trying to figure this thing out because 64-44 is nothing to laugh at. It's high scoring, 108 points. But I don't want Alcorn Nation getting upset with me or anything. But to be quite honest with you, that was embarrassing. That was embarrassing, and we've got to do better. And it starts within. We scheduling these games, and we talking about we got to give our guys a break, for playing such a tough schedule. But why are we playing these games if we're not playing to compete and position ourselves for championships?
I mean, that's a good question, and you look at it and you go, well, how tough are these games that you're playing? Honestly, outside of them being a conference game, how much are you honestly challenging yourself? Because if you look at it, we haven't had a signature non-conference win in the conference outside of the Celebration Bowl since 2008 when Alabama State beat Jacksonville State.
Right.
We're talking about 11 seasons ago.
Right.
So, I mean, it's, like I said, I'm one of those people, I'm beating the drum that hope that we go into 2020 with a new vision and we're able to change the mentality for the conference, because this conference is so proud. We have so much history, and everything that we talk about, it seems to be all off the field when we start talking about current. We talk about the attendance, the band, the fanfare, but then we start talking about on the field stuff. We got to go back and talk about Walter Payton and Jerry Rice and some of these other guys that played yesteryear. We need to bring some of that current.
Right. Well, it's a good thing that you brought up that attendance. It was close to 33,000, was 32,968, something of that number, 963, whatever it is. But if you round it up, it's 33,000. That's a good turnout, but it could be. There's no reason there shouldn't be 50,000 people at that game. There's no reason. You're based out of Atlanta. What marketing, if any, were you seeing promoting this game, let's say from August up to the actual Celebration Bowl?
Very little to none. If you went to some of the if you went downtown, right now you have college football playoff hanging on the light posts. There were a few light posts that had Celebration Bowl on them, but not as many as the college football playoff. You did start seeing commercials in the last 2 weeks. People were aware of the Celebration Bowl, I will say that. But one thing that we ran into, and this kind of upsets me as a Jaguar, a lot of people from the mayor's office all the way down were really, really rooting for Southern University to make it to the Celebration Bowl. A lot of people, a lot of events were playing if Southern University makes it, including the Battle of the Bands and some of the other things that were planned by the city if Southern University were to make it. And it was a question that we even asked Coach McNair. Southern University was a sexy pick. You guys are, how does that make you feel? And there's no doubt that leading up to the SWAC championship game, the city of Atlanta, because of the revenue that Jackson State brought for the SWAC MEAC challenge, with it being the largest challenge that we've had, and the amount of Jackson State fans, the city was looking forward to another one of those big fan bases, a Jackson State, a FAMU, a Southern, to come in to bring the excitement to the city. So that's the mixed bag that you got here.
Okay. Now, with that being said, I don't know what the allotment of tickets are per institution. Maybe you have a number on that. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, it's 10,000 per university. That's 20,000 right there. You still got another, I know it can seat 70, but they have it where it can hold 40, 50, whatever the magical number is. And we call Atlanta the Mecca for HBCU African Americans throughout the country. What would you recommend that we do to drive that message in? I know 2 weeks out that sounds good, but that's not good. It needs to be a constant subliminal message sent, I believe, from the beginning of college football season all the way to the actual game itself.
I think the biggest thing here in Atlanta is that once you have the MEAC SWAC Challenge, you don't hear anything about HBCU football until about 2 weeks before the Celebration Bowl. Even with us having Morehouse, CAU, and some of those teams locally, you don't hear much about HBCU football because we don't have a SWAC football team in the state. We no longer have a MEAC football team in the state. So it's kind of like it goes by the wayside with everything else that we have going on. Yes, we have fans from those institutions that live here, and a lot of them are traveling on the weekends. So we don't really, it's like we have it, and then it's gone. And then once we get to the end of the year, we kind of pick it back up and hope that people are paying attention. So I think that has to change. I think that we have to market the Celebration Bowl a little bit better. We have a ways to come when it comes down to that.
Okay, just what you mentioning, that I've already thought, a couple of deals that you can do. Send you some foot patrol teams out during those Morehouse and other games, promoting their brand also, but also letting them know that, if you allow me to put it like this, you got some big brothers that are going to be meeting here in a couple of months. So get involved, because the one thing, they might not have Division I programs, but they got Greeks at those institutions, and you can compound that and add it. And last I checked, Atlanta could be easily called Black Atlanta, and you got enough elementary schools and high schools and school districts where you can infiltrate that deal, and like you say, just do a slow drip throughout the season that can help that cause to be met, because we do know and understand that when it comes to this bowl game, there's a lot predicated on the viewership, but the ticket revenue helps those institutions, the more people that are actually in that game. So the more you can get in there, the more everybody's going to be smiling.
Exactly. And that makes sense. And you would hope, like I said, Atlanta is, this city is chocolate as they come. From the time you get off the plane, at the airport, the person who's checking your luggage, your bag, they're going to look like you. It's. I always felt like you. We should have 50,000 people here, because you have so many locals here in this metro area, 6.5 million people. That you should be able to get that amount once you add, the people who are traveling in, and this is the HBCU city. I mean, it's hard pressed for you to drive a mile on the interstate and not see a tag frame, not see a tag from some HBCU. So this is an HBCU-centric city. Like I said, we just have to market it, because you'll be surprised how many people locally here didn't even know the Celebration Bowl was going on this weekend.
Wow. Well, I think it's a good thing, and it's a challenge. I won't say it's a bad thing. It's a good thing that this bowl has been thriving the way it has with the lack of recognition, but it's also the challenge of getting that proper recognition out with shows throughout the circuit. And this is just my opinion, and I've been vocal about it. But when you are spending dollars on programs like this to help promote it, not just 2 weeks out, but all season long, because whether they realize or not, people do listen to our shows. People listen. We got the numbers to prove it. But that's something that we can, as they say, kick down the road a little bit later on. But back to this competition level, we've got to get on an express train, man, to try to even this playing field, because it's not looking favorable right now. And I think it boils down to the styles of play. The MEAC has a certain style of play. The SWAC has a certain style of play. And it's obvious that our style of play has not been showing up to the dance.
Yep, that's true. I mean, we talked to fans, talked to a few media guys from North Carolina A&T, and they were very confident Friday and Saturday before the game. And one of the things they brought up was style of play. They said that, hey, you SWAC teams, you guys have some excellent skill position players. But when we start talking about the trenches, man on man, that's where, you lack. We're going to take advantage of that.
Right.
So, that's, something that we've talked about as far as SWAC football for a while. The SWAC is built from the outside in. MEAC is built from the inside out. When you start looking at the NFL draft and you look at Javon Hargraves and the guys from the MEAC who have gone on to the next level, a lot of those guys are guys who play up front who are the front seven defensive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that is the Achilles heel. That's been my battle cry for the longest. I would love to be one of those to build a team from the inside out. And another thing, I think we do not have, in my opinion, the skill sets to run the RPOs. Not all of us. So I'm surprised that we're not running triple options and other things that kind of meet your skill set, if not brings an equal playing field with the skill sets you have available. For example, Mississippi Valley. I love Mississippi Valley. But if I'm Mississippi Valley situation, knowing the financial challenges I have when I talk about scholarships and getting the players that you need to run the RPO, why not look into the triple option? And why not look to a solid kick game? Because you can get kickers. I don't care where you are. You can get kickers. You can get long snappers for your special teams play. And if I get any side between the 30 and 40-yard line, I'm kicking field goals. I'm kicking, and I want to get me a stout enough defense, and that means stacking up them guys on that interior defensive trench line and try to do something that's going to offset that. And if I got this triple option, guess what I'm doing? I'm eating up time. I'm eating up time of possession, and I'm limiting the time that you're going to do it. So now it puts pressure back on you that you feel like you have to score every time you get the ball because you're going to have very limited time. We're going to eat up that clock.
Right. And we talked about how the teams are made. How much of that is a direct result of the MEAC playing these top-tier FCS conferences and saying if we're going to compete with them, we have to be built like them, as opposed to the SWAC, who you can argue has been isolated, just saying, hey, we just got to be the best amongst ourselves. That plays a major part when you start talking about, okay, just how far do we need to come as a program? And also, you mentioned the triple option. I had an opportunity to speak with Brian Bohannon, who is the head coach at Kennesaw State.
A
few years ago at a football camp. He said, hey, when we started this football program, our first year of playing was going to be 2015. And we wanted to come in, we wanted to compete, immediately. What was the quickest way to do it? So he took a note from Georgia Southern, which he coached there for a little while, coached at Georgia Tech, the triple option. He said, we don't have to have the best athletes. We don't have to get the best athletes. We can use what we have and know even the playing field immediately. Yeah, I think and since 2015, Kennesaw State has won 3 conference titles and have been to the FCS playoffs 3 years in a row.
Right.
Learning that style.
Well, if you go back to the great Eddie Robertson, the Grambling was on the roll. Why? With the misdirection triple option.
Mm-hmm.
And it does somewhat even the playing field. Now, if you're going to have that, this is, to me, you're going to have to be a defensive-minded coach. Which, to me, I always associate a good kicking game associated with the defense. Because if I got a good kicking game, whether it's my punter or my kicker, and I got a solid enough defense, I can flip the field and sneak some points here and there. You understand? And I just think our approach, we need to go back to the drawing board, man. It is a challenge. It is an absolute challenge.
Yeah. Because what you're seeing right now is a bunch of Xeroxing. One team runs the spread. Everybody has caught on to it. And now what you have is a bunch of spread offenses in the conference. And a lot of us up front don't have the personnel to run the spread. When you're running the spread, you need a lighter offensive lineman. You might not have that 6'3", 300 minutes, that 6'1", 300-pounder. He might needs to be 6'4", 300, because you have the reach block and different blocking techniques, gap side, different blocking techniques. What's going to take a more athletic offensive lineman to be able to run that blocking scheme effectively.
No doubt about it, man. And it's going to change. And I think, this is just me, I know you're in the state of Georgia, which is some good football in Georgia. We're in the state of Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. All our states, Alabama, all our states have good football roots. And I just believe these guys in those trenches, I should say, those are going to be the difference between being a champion and just being satisfied at being a winner. And I think we got to get out of that pilgrim mentality of just selling to be the best amongst the SWAC. And if we really want to be taken serious as a conference.
I agree, and we got to stop finding excuses on why not. We always, I've seen people make the argument, well, hey, I don't care about what they do. We got our own thing. I mean, that's just it's a loser's mentality. If you're not competing to be the best, then why are you even playing the sport? You need to compete to be the best that you can be, and that means nationally, because it means nothing to have a conference of Eddie Robinson, Marino Cassim, Jerry Rice, and so many others. I feel like you're disrespecting the legacy that they left by not competing. They didn't build this conference up for you not to compete.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brother, that was, as they say, well put together, as especially since we're going to have to end this segment right now with B.J. Jones. B.J., you do a great job, man. And as they say, proud to be associated with you. But I'm going to give you an opportunity now for some closing thoughts and comments as we get ready to shut this segment down and get ready for our next guest.
Well, thank you, Mike, man. I appreciate everything that you done for me and taught me. The short time that I've been doing this, 2019 Celebration Bowl in the books. This football season really rushed past. Looking forward to 2020. And in 2020, we got some new beginnings. If you guys are familiar with the show that I do on Facebook Live, we're bringing that to the Open Mic Network soon, courtesy of Dr. Michael Prince. We will bring you the Sports Lounge featuring B.J. Jones. It's going to be, I call it the realest, trillest show on radio. You guys are going to like it. It's going to be coming in 2020, courtesy of a good Dr. Michael Prince.
The Sports Lounge. I like that, man. That sounds kind of sexy.
Yeah, man. We'll have a good time.
All right, BJ, man. Great job as always. Welcome to the family. And we'll be getting together and we'll do this again real soon. BJ Jones, the newest member of the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to take us a break and we'll be right back with more of tonight's coverage. We'll hear from Johnnie Football Cole and more of this MEAC dominance that we got to overcome. Keep it where you got it, and we'll be right back.
Serving the community through faith and athletics. The Open Mic Broadcast Network.
Let's face it, from time to time, we'll have a need for an attorney, whether it's the case of a DUI, DWI, or any other circumstances that would find you on the other side of the law. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, located at 1047 Austin Street, is the one to call. Attorney Lee Van Richardson and his staff are equipped to help you get through your legal battles. Attorney Lee Van Richardson, 979-826-8008 in Hempstead, Texas.
Are you one of the many Americans that deal with the effects of diabetes? Diva Skin Conditioner could be the remedy that you need. Diva Skin Conditioner is a formulation that was designed with you in mind. Diva Skin Conditioner comes with a money-back guarantee. That's how confident they are in their product. For more information, visit divafeet.com. That's D-I-V-A-H, feet.com. Or you can speak with a representative by dialing 903-270-0026.
The birth of legends are storied in this conference. We must never forget our rich history. We now turn our gaze to the future. The new legends will emerge. New heroes to arise. The Southwestern Athletic Conference.
Each team starts their journey on separate roads, but they all converge to one road to the championship. There will be revenge and redemption. There'll be an Aggie and Eagle standoff. There'll be Bulldogs and Bears colliding with Tigers and Spartans. Hornets fighting off Bison and Wildcats rattling the Rattlers. The road has twists and turns, and when it ends, one thing is certain. Only one team will claim the title, MEAC champion.
And welcome back to the Mike Prince Show live here on Sunday night. We want to thank our guest, in the first half of this show, B.J. Jones, the newest addition to the family here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. Don't forget the Mike Prince Show comes to you each and every day, Monday through Fridays at 10 a.m. The Carlos Brown Show at 10 a.m. on Saturdays. And then B.J. will be coming on at 7:30 on Sunday nights, followed by the Mike Prince Show live on Sunday nights. But now we're going to our sports football guru, the old coach himself, Johnnie Football Cole. Coach, how you doing tonight, sir?
Man, I'm great, man. Enjoying these holidays.
You enjoying the holidays? You ain't got full off that turkey yet, or you waiting on that?
Man, I got a 20-pound turkey waiting on it, injected and everything.
A 20-pound turkey, Coach?
20-pound turkey, Coach.
All right, man. Well, you know that they say that turkey makes you very, very lethargic.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to it because I've been looking forward to this break.
Okay. Well, a break it is, and a break it shall be now that the HBCU version of the championship series between Alcorn and North Carolina A&T has come to a conclusion. And for lack of a better word, Coach, the word I've been using was a collapse.
Well, I'm going to use embarrassing.
Okay.
Nothing personal towards Coach Fred McNair and the Alcorn State Braves. They had a great season. But you just can't go to the dance and pee down your leg. Can I use that word?
Yeah, that's okay. You can already use it anyway.
And because you're not just representing Alcorn State, you represent the SWAC. And I'm a SWAC man, and if their best team can score 64 points on us, on our best team, wow.
Well, it depends on who you ask. If you ask FAMU is saying that the best team was not there at the MEAC, and because they did their self-imposed sanctions on themselves, technically North Carolina A&T was the best team, even though they beat North Carolina A&T. But when you look at it, Coach, and it has to me, and we talked about this with BJ in the first half of the show, it's got to be, to me, down to the style of play that we choose to run from the SWAC compared to the MEAC and the rest of FCS.
Well, I mean, the history shows that the SWAC is always better offensively than the MEAC. You know, every now and then the MEAC I have some teams that throw the ball real well. You know, everybody is, into this spread anyway. You know, it's about defense. It's about being able to defend the spread. And evidently, we hadn't faced those type of athletes in the SWAC for the Alcorn, who led in total defense and scoring and rushing, to give up 64 points in the big dance. That's either saying they wasn't prepared or we that bad in our conference.
Well, here's the version or the angle that I'm taking on it, Coach. I'm not going to say that the athletes are that bad, but I think the positions that they're putting in with the schemes that are chosen from either conference is where.
Watch out now.
What's that?
You talking about coaching, but go ahead.
I'm coaching. Well, everybody copies everybody. No one is creative. Where is the fullback? The fullback is long gone. He's a dinosaur. Okay.
You're talking my language. Keep going.
Well, and what I'm saying is when you start doing that, and I was just talking the last segment, Eddie Robertson set history by running a triple option misdirection.
Wing T. Yes, sir.
The wing T. He set history. He set records running that. You still have programs that are successful. Navy comes to mind. Kennesaw comes to mind. When you're talking about run, and you're going to have more average Joes that fall on our doorsteps than those stud receivers, quarterbacks, running backs. So if that is the case, why not adjust to what you have a plethora of?
Well, I can't argue with you. Matter of fact, I'm speechless because I feel exactly the same way. And if I ever get an opportunity to get back in that setting, you come watch me play, you're going to see a fullback. You're going to see a tight end. You're going to see some smash out football. You know what I mean? You're going to see some spread. You're going to see some 4 minutes. You know what I mean? Because sometimes there's no way a team will score 64 points on you unless they just that much better than you. If you're playing with a fullback, if you're playing with a tight end, because now you slowing the game up. But now everybody is 1, 2, 3 out when you should be taking, 3 or 4 minutes or 2 or 3 minutes on the offensive drive. Now, offensive drive could go less than a minute.
Right. And I've seen that on numerous times on various games. You pick a game, they're 3 and out, and they haven't even eaten up 60 seconds, 45 seconds off the play clock.
Well, the average play of a football is 8 seconds, 8 to 9 seconds. So 3 plays is 24 seconds. That's less than a half of a minute, and you get the ball back over.
Right. Right. And you're not giving yourself a chance. And it's all about, to me, is the art and the strategy of the game. Because I don't care how talented your defense is, if they're on the field 65, 75% of the time, they're eventually going to break.
Well, the other part is the game is not a finesse game. It's not a power game anymore. It's a finesse game. It's played on the outside, with your best versus my best. Can my secondary tackle? That's what. If you can't tackle in the open field today, man, it's gonna be a hard time.
Well, it really and truly, the way the rules have been geared toward offense, you're going to have to go back to the old days of wrapping up, driving through the guys and tackling, because guys, I guess far as between the last 5-10 years, they would like to get for the big hit, which attributed to sloppy tackling. They want the oohs and the ahs. I just want a guy who's going to go through, run through the person he's trying to tackle cleanly, and wrap up and get up for the next play. You ain't got to stand up, clap your hands, do some calisthenics to show everybody that you made the tackle. That's what you have a number for.
Well, I've been saying this to you all year. The best defense is a ball control offense that keep their offense off the field, number one. Number two is exactly what you said. If you as a defensive coordinator right now, and if I'm blessed enough to get another head job, we're going to work on tackling drills every day. If you could tackle in the open field, you could slow that spread down. Ain't no question. Mm-hmm. And you'll be able to get the ball back and win games.
Well, see, I think the best way, as you mentioned, that you put pressure on a spread RPO offense is a ball control offense, your own. But if you got 2 RPO offenses going against each other, it almost looks like a cat fight.
Yeah, and the game lasts 4 hours.
Yes. So keep the truck running, because we'll be right back, because we about to you're gonna get 4 opportunities to touch this rock, because I don't care if I don't do nothing but kick it and flip the field. We gonna eat up 3 to 4. You figure you got 40 seconds, right, Coach, between plays. Okay. Yes. We'll omit the first play because there's no 40-second clock. But once that clock runs, and I'm going to snap the ball at 5 seconds, if not 3, and that's going to eat up 40. By the time, if I don't go but 3 and out, it's going to be 3 or 4 minutes gone by the time you get the ball back.
Because sometimes when you do that, that throws the other offensive coordinator off. You know what I mean? Because people don't understand about calling plays. It's a rhythm. People think, I can get in there and call a play. No, you can't. Calling plays is a rhythm. You know what I mean? It's a system.
Okay.
a way of doing it, and it's a rhythm. And when you over there sitting over there on the sideline and wait, everything is going through your mind. Good offensive coordinator. Where we gonna get this ball at? What I need to start off of? Is it a turnover? Is it off the kickoff return? You know what I mean? Where is it gonna be at? Where the field position? So if he's sitting over there, be like, wow, am I gonna get it? Are they gonna drive in? Are they gonna miss the field goal? Are they gonna kick it off? Am I gonna get on the 20? So then now he gotta get all that information and then start where he want to start off at.
Right. So it's a game within the game when it comes to trying to make sure that everything is going to work its way out. And it's just
somewhere in that game when I looked at the box scores. A&T started off slow.
Right.
They scored 24 points in the second quarter.
Yes, sir.
So now hopefully my defense coordinator is making some adjustments. And I'm, as an offense coordinator, making some adjustments with him, saying, hey, what's going on? Do we need to slow it up? Well, they come back out the third quarter and score 28 points. They scored 52 points in 2 quarters.
Yeah. When you look at that, you made a reference earlier. I'm agree to disagree on it. You're thinking that the student athlete in the MEAC is that much superior than the student athlete in the SWAC?
So I'm just going by the numbers, and then you got Florida A&M sitting over there, who have beat A&T, who had a great season, and then our best. And I understand. Don't get me wrong. I've been beat before, but our best on the best day give up 64 points. That's tough.
Yeah, it's tough. That's
tough.
No
and
lie.
And let me say this to Coach Manier and his staff: they dominated the SWAC.
Well, that's that.
This is our best bet.
Right, and that was my question. What does that say about the rest of us who remain?
There you go. That's the question you just asked me.
So once again, is that the student athletes that we're recruiting? Or as BJ referred to it, the SWAC recruits from the outside in, means that they look for the skill players first, receivers, running backs, quarterbacks, and then they worry about the interior line. The MEAC goes from the inside out. They focus on the interior line, then they plug the pieces with receivers. Because some coaches' theories are receivers and running backs are like a dime a dozen.
Well, I can't argue with his assessment, but that's all depends on each individual coach, each individual need. I mean, if you're a coach and you evaluate your situation and you can't put pressure on the quarterback, then you need to go get defensive linemen that can put pressure on the quarterback. If you can't cover people in the secondary, then you need to focus on getting secondary people.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't think that's a true statement, but when you whoop up on people like that, I guess you can say anything. But if you know the last championship I won in the SWAC, our defense was number 1 in the country. What's up, son? You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm an offensive coach.
Okay.
So it's about philosophy more so than it's about everybody in the SWAC, include receivers and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Because Lyman didn't score 64 points. I think he threw 6 touchdowns.
Yeah. Well, the line gave him time. And there were some collapses on some plays. They were big plays that Alcorn gave him.
That one receiver looked like a top-notch receiver. See, he looked like about 6'3".
Yes, bell. They said ring the bell.
Yeah, Coach. Shit, it looked like that he ain't no second-hand recruit. they had to go after him.
Well,
that quarterback was nice.
Right.
He hit him in stride. He ain't no second-hand recruit. You ain't gonna tell me they say, oh, well, let's get this defensive lineman and not get this quarterback.
I understand that. But what another scary thing about that that team of North Carolina A&T, they only lost 10 seniors after yesterday's game.
Wow.
Compared to 26 seniors that Alcorn lost after yesterday's game.
Well, like I said, Alcorn been dominating the SWAC. What they have? Six Eastern Conference championships, something like that. 4 SWAC championships.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
so they dominate our conference.
Well, on that note, the conference.
And then next is Grambling, and then next is Southern, and then it's just you just throw it up in the air after that.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to talk about recruiting on the next time around, Coach, because we get into these conversations, man, and they just get, as they say, gooder and gooder. But we're going to have to talk about some recruiting and some tactics. I did take in heed what you said about being the scavenger, that you come around and get everything else, that the excitement really starts after February when it comes to the FCS level. But, Coach, as always, we want to thank you for joining with us on tonight. In case I don't get a chance to talk to you, man, Merry Christmas to you, my brother, and you and your family, and have a prosperous New Year. But I should talk to you before the New Year is out. But we appreciate you so much, man, and we about to sign off for tonight. We want to thank our guests on tonight, B.J. Jones, Johnnie Football Cole, and you, the listeners, for joining us on the Mike Prince Show live right here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We're going to fade into the sunset for right now, but until the next time, you guys be blessed, and we'll see you on the other side.